up, everybody? Just giving it a second for people to pile in here. Just like a couple days ago, I'm just going to be taking some questions. And the purpose of this really is to promote. I'm starting a Patreon membership-only group. So in the future, once I get enough content ready to go, this kind of stuff is only going to be available to Patreon members. So for now, I'm doing it for free to give you an idea of what you can expect if you join my Patreon group. In my Patreon group, we're going to be doing this 2, maybe 3 times a week, just going through, answering questions one by one for an hour, hour and a half or so. So get some pretty good direct access to my brain. Also with, just like Drew Bay for the most part. And also with this Patreon group, there's going to be a lot of videos, different topics, demonstrations of workouts in the gym. They're not going to be, using various Nautilus, MedX equipment. I'm going to put videos of me training clients. I'm going to put videos of me being put through exercises and just pretty much cover everything. Also in the Patreon group, I had to order a new charger for my MacBook. I've been using this kind of whatever crappy little Chrome thing I just picked up just to get the job done for now. But once I get my MacBook up and running again, I'm going to be doing critique videos of common videos on YouTube. So a lot of people send me videos of just some ridiculous shit. And I think it'll be a good idea to use these videos or these authorities in exercise and break down why what they're doing is wrong. So I'm going to be doing a lot of that stuff in the future too, just kind of going through a video or going through, whatever Joe Rogan said or whatever ex-bodybuilder said and be giving you examples and evidence of why what they're saying is wrong and, the right approach for that thing. So there's going to be a lot of stuff in this Patreon group. I'm just going to be blasting content throughout the week. And 2 or 3 times a week, just taking an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours just to answer everybody's questions. So the purpose of this is to give you an idea of what the Patreon group is going to look like. In the future, this is not going to be available for free on YouTube. It's going to be only available to Patreons. Also, with the Patreon group, you're going to have the ability to send me emails in which I'm going to answer personally. As of right now, if you send me a question to DM, an email, or whatever, I might answer it. I might not, depending on what I got going on that day and if I'm in the mood, honestly. But for my Patreon members, I will answer pretty much any question you have. Okay, let's answer some questions. So I've got about until 8:15 today, 8:15 Eastern time, because I've been following the Tampa Bay Lightning. As many of you know, I live in Tampa Bay, and I've been following the Tampa Bay Lightning. They're in the Stanley Cup Finals, so I've been watching every single game. So they started about 8:30. So I got about until 8:15 today to take questions. So I'm just going to do them in order, and I believe you guys can super chat here. So if you want your question answered first, send a super chat. I believe you can do that on this. I don't know. All right, let's see. Number 1 here. What exercises are not worth doing? The first thing that comes to my mind are burpees. Burpees are the dumbest. Burpees are not an exercise. Burpees is about as much of an exercise as like a handstand is or a jumping jack. Keep in mind, this is very important, guys. Just because exercise involves movement does not mean all movement is exercise. Okay? So just because a muscle is being used for something does not mean it is effectively stimulated. The purpose of exercise is to effectively stimulate the muscles and all of the things that support the muscle. If and this comes through aggressive muscular fatigue. Aggressive muscular fatigue stimulates the muscle tissue to produce an adaptive response, which in turn stimulates all of the systems that support the muscle to also produce an adaptive response if given enough rest, recovery, nutrition. Systems like the cardiovascular system, metabolic tissue, bone and connective, or metabolic system, bone and connective tissue, all this stuff will be effectively stimulated through aggressive muscular fatigue. Burpees, jumping jacks, whatever stupid bullshit man bun wearing functional trainers do not produce effective or aggressive muscular fatigue in many cases, and most of the time they are not worth doing. It's actually better not to do them, because a lot of these things will produce wear and tear on the joints over time with no muscular stimulation. Complete waste of time. Yeah, V-Shred, I'm going to take that bastard out. He's an idiot. He's a fraud. If you want to start the right diet, should I avoid caffeine? No, caffeine's fine. Caffeine is actually an effective tool or an effective supplement when you're trying to lose body fat. It will actually raise your resting metabolic rate. So if you are dieting and eating in a caloric deficit, moderate caffeine, 100, 200, tops 300 milligrams a day, will actually raise your resting metabolic rate and burn fat tissue a little more quickly. So there's no reason to avoid caffeine. And again, it all depends on how you respond to it. Like personally, I'll drink every single morning the smaller pot of coffee. I will drink the whole pot. That's the caffeine I have for the whole day, which is probably about 200 to 300 milligrams. But I also notice sometimes if I'm a little, tired later in the afternoon and I have a cup of coffee, it has the opposite effect on me. This actually happened to me yesterday. I was probably overtrained, sluggish, tired all day, grumpy, and I went and got an iced coffee after having what I usually have in the morning, and it gave me a throbbing migraine. So just like anything, there is a point of diminishing returns, and especially with caffeine. Caffeine is also a diuretic, which will dehydrate you. So if you're drinking coffee, make sure you're drinking a lot of water. You'll notice I'll drink this whole thing just through this live stream. I go through probably 6 or 7 of these a day. Water is very important. Duh, obviously. But again, like overkilling water isn't going to make you lose weight fast or anything. All right, let me see. All right. As someone with average genetics, what can I use to assess what my limits should be in terms of what I can achieve? For example, can someone with average genetics get the sort of body that you have? Absolutely not. No, I have far above average genetics. I have almost freakish genetics. When I was, I believe I was 13 or 14 years old, I broke my collarbone. Probably can't see it. I broke my collarbone playing football and went into the orthopedic office after I was recovering. And the orthopedic surgeon turned around and he looks at my father and he goes, "Holy shit." He goes, "Your son is built like a middleweight. Broad shoulders." I had pec definition, bicep definition. I was 13. Okay. I have far above average genetics. I would guess almost none of you will ever look like I do. And keep in mind, too, the way I look, I put almost no effort into it. The only effort I put in is training 2, maybe 3 days a week if I'm feeling like it. Like, I eat this ice cream every single night. I eat a bowl of this every single night. I mean, I don't have a strict diet. I make sure I get, I make sure I get my protein in every day, and that's about all I focus on. And then I just kind of eat whatever I want. So a lot of the time, this is what I eat generally. Actually, just got it. So I get is not for you, buddy. So I normally get Tyson chicken breasts. As you can tell, this is about 1.25 pounds, 1.5 pounds. So it comes out to about 2 giant breasts. This kind of looks like 3 for some reason. But I will eat half of this package per meal. And I'll do this once or twice a day. Twice a day if I'm being good. So that's about, that's, 80, 90, maybe 100 grams of protein per serving. That's how I get my protein in. Well, other than that, I kind of eat whatever the hell I want, and I'm in the best shape of my life. I just, year after year, I get in better shape. I don't know why, and I do know why. It's because my genetics are absolutely frigging insane. They're insane. So, okay, so back to the question. In short, you will never look like I do. It's just the way it is. Average genetics. 10 to 20 pounds of additional muscle tissue over the course of a training career, meaning over the course of your lifetime. Over the course of your lifetime. Body composition-wise, most people should be able to be 12, 13, 14% body fat. If you would like to become single digit, 10, 9, 8% body fat, which is going to be very lean, most people are going to have to put in a lot of effort to do that. So I would say, I'm about, I'm just under 6 feet tall, a little over 5'11", 210 pounds. Somebody my height, a good physique would be about 165, 170 pounds with 9 to 10% body fat. That's in 185 would be big. So just keep that in mind. People who look like me is very rare. If you're, the average male height is 5'9", so about 160, 165 lean is a good physique. That's a good average physique. If you're pushing about 180 lean, you have very good genetics. So just think of it that way. Don't be looking to be, 5'10", 5'11", 6 foot tall, 200 to 210 pounds lean. Very rare. These people, like me, generally gravitate, because of the genetic predisposition and the genetic advantage, generally gravitate towards things like bodybuilding, personal training, fitness modeling. As you guys might know, one second. So some people may be aware, some people may be unaware, but I still am. I might get a booking year, but I'm a professional fitness model. I've been in Muscle and Fitness, Ironman, Muscular Development, Flex, you name it. I've been on every single magazine. And the reason I got into fitness modeling, I didn't one day have an average physique and say, I'll show them I'm going to become a professional fitness model. No, it's not how it happened. People looked at me. I remember people saying I looked like a Nike mannequin, like from a store. And I got this feedback so much that my physique was so impressive that I'm like, maybe I should do fitness modeling. So I applied to a modeling agency, got in, and obviously booked a lot of work. It was quite easy. I didn't do anything special. When I got into modeling, I did watch my diet a little bit more. Just to maintain being lean. But the thing about the fitness modeling is when you book a fitness modeling job, like when I booked Under Armour, I was notified 2 weeks in advance. When I booked Muscle Tech, I was notified a week in advance. I had to get a passport expedited within a week because Muscle Tech, for all these magazine photos, is in Toronto, and I was living in New York City at the time, and I didn't have a passport. You get notified very short notice, so you have to be in shape all the time. And it wouldn't be worth it to constantly be measuring and weighing your food for a couple modeling gigs a year. It wouldn't be worth it. So generally, the people who get into modeling maintain a lean muscular physique almost effortlessly. And I'm one of those people. Sorry, yes, it probably sucks for you to hear that, but I do. I eat ice cream every night. I'm going to go have, 2-3 beers watching the Lightning game tonight. It's just the way it is. So, Brian, go ahead and give me your height, age, current body composition, and I could give you an idea once I get to the bottom most. How to start muscle building for a small guy? Go through the rest of my channel. Would doing the big 5 plus maybe arm work or leg extension curl twice a week be good stuff? Yeah, the big 5 is a starting point for it'll give you good results, but not optimal. For optimal improvements in body composition or optimal improvements in strength, you're going to need more than the big 5 once a week. That is for just basic health benefits. That's the point. Doug McGuff wrote that to get people started. If you want the best physique your genetics will allow, 5 exercises once a week is not going to do it. A big 5 plus, yes, arm work, leg extension, leg curl, lower back, abdominals, forearms, calves. You're going to need all those additional exercises. You're going to be my workout, my upper body workout is I do an upper lower split. My lower body workout is 4 exercises. All right, is what it is. But my upper body workout is about 7. So we got horizontal press, horizontal row, vertical press, vertical pull, you chin up, whatever, pull over, biceps, triceps, forearms. And then the legs, and sometimes I'll throw in abs, maybe like once a month. And then the legs is leg press or squat, extension, curl, calves. You're going to need more. So that's a total of 11 exercises. You're not going to get your ultimate physique with 5, unless your genetics are absolutely incredible and you probably had a ridiculous physique before you ever started working out, like I did when I was 13. Supplements I take, none really. I just take creatine. I take creatine for the clinical benefits for the most part. A lot of research behind it. Doesn't do anything for your physique. I haven't noticed that. Well, maybe some people. I haven't noticed anything with, physique improvement, but I just take creatine almost like a multivitamin. It's just good to take it. How would I rate Olympic weightlifting training or sport in general? All right, there are 2 components to Olympic weightlifting training. There is building strength and then performance of the technical skill. It's no different than like golfing. A golfer might want to weight train in order to reduce injury and improve his ability to contract his muscles. So that way, when he improves the general trainable factors of functional ability, all right, general trainable factors of functional ability are improvements that will transfer to any physical activity you do. Muscular strength, cardiovascular efficiency, bone and connective tissue strength, metabolic efficiency, those will transfer. Those are general improvements that can and will be had by exercise that will transfer to anything you do. Then there are specific adaptations in terms of skill and motor learning. Technical Olympic lifts are one. So there are 2 components to that. One, you get as strong as injury resistant as you possible, and then you practice the Olympic lift. Many of them probably combine the 2, which is stupid. But Olympic weightlifting is not a good way to strengthen your muscles. It's an extremely dangerous and inefficient way to strengthen your muscles. When you're looking for an exercise, you want to avoid ones that involve a highly technical skill, like Olympic weightlifting. You want the exercises which require the least amount of skill possible. That way, every improvement you get from that exercise, you can be sure that is improvement in strength, not an improvement in skill. So for instance, if you, out of nowhere, start doing a bench press, you'll notice your weight will increase rapidly. This is a combination of your body got stronger, but it's mostly due to the fact you improved the skill component of performing the bench press. Your body developed a way to perform that muscle recruitment pattern more efficiently with using less energy. So it's not necessarily all strength. So avoid things like just avoid exercises that involve a lot of skill. Man bun functional trainers, they do this kind of shit. This one leg hippity hoppity backflip bullshit may look good for Instagram and YouTube to a fucking idiot who doesn't know any better, but in terms of stimulating the body, it's horrifically poor. It's almost like an elephant balancing on a fucking ball or whatever they did in the circus and then calling that exercise. Just because it involves your body, it's not exercise. It's a pointless, useless skill that doesn't transfer to anything. I gotta plug this computer in. Hold on one second. All right, so we don't die. Yeah, Olympic weightlifting is a sport. Listen, every sport has an inherent risk of injury, and that's up for you to decide. Will I watch Olympic weightlifting? No, it's boring as shit to me. But if you want to do it, you do it. Just like soccer, boring. Does exercising help with sex drive? Yes, it does have a positive impact on testosterone and libido. So yes, maybe not. I don't. How much it will depends on the individual, but theoretically it will. Oh. Let me see. Okay. All right. Done both styles of hit, slow and controlled, and Dorian Yates' method, which seem to be slightly different. In your opinion, which is better? In my opinion, slower is better, just for the mere sake of reducing chance of injury. They're both going to stimulate your muscle. At the end of a training career, there's not going to be a difference in how your physique develops, but there will certainly be a difference on injuries sustained in the long run. Slowing it down is always better. Just because Dorian Yates got fucking huge doing it his way doesn't mean it was the best way. Dorian Yates was also a freak and took enough steroids that could kill a cow. Keep that in mind. Again, I repeat this all the time. Just because someone appears to have achieved some result using some particular method is not proof that they could not have achieved the same or even better results using another method more safely, more efficiently, and more effectively. And Dorian Yates is proof of that. Is it better exercise every? No. If you're doing a high-intensity training protocol, you should not be able to exercise every day. I always recommend, if you're training effectively, you never want to train back-to-back. You want to take the next day off completely from intense resistance training. That doesn't mean you can't move or, go ride a bike or whatever. You want to take it off from intense exercise. If you do an intense workout on Monday and an intense workout on Tuesday, in the beginning, you might be able to get away with it, but as time goes on, you're almost certainly going to overtrain. If you are exercising effectively, you should not be able to tolerate training 2 days in a row. The only reason people can exercise 2 days in a row is because they're not really even training their body. They're just kind of moving it around in the gym. Yeah, no, the reason I say this is because you guys need to understand the importance of genetics. It's so important. And I know it drives people crazy, but the best analogy is like, how tan your skin can get. My girlfriend is not tan. I think she's like Irish or something. I'm Sicilian. So I'll go out in the sun for 15 minutes. I'll come back with this beautiful tan. She can stay out in the sun all day and she won't get tan. She'll just get burned. Now, it doesn't matter what tanning bed she uses, if she tans in Florida or California, what tanning oil she uses. She can try everything in the book. She will never have the same skin tone as me. Why? Genetics. She cannot change the amount of melanin in her skin. It's the same thing when it comes to exercise. Your genetics are going to limit how you respond to exercise, just like your genetics are going to limit how tan you get from the sun. So, some people, I can go outside for 10 minutes and develop a beautiful tan. That might piss her off or piss pale people off. Just like I can eat ice cream every night and still look like a Greek god. That's just the way it is. Luckily, I'm intelligent enough to understand this information, so I'm giving people the correct information without trying to be a cheerleader and say, hey, you can do it if you want to fucking have whatever transformation. Just, buy my supplement, buy a Peloton bike. Luckily, I'm not a fraud, and the whole reason I'm here is because I hate frauds. I hate them. I hate when people scam people out of money, and I want to destroy all of them. That's why I'm here giving you the correct information. Whether it makes you happy or not, I don't care. I'm giving you the correct information. Do with it as you please. If you want to go believe all the lies and the bullshit because it makes you happy and you think that you can look like Arnold Schwarzenegger if you buy a Peloton bike, go for it. It's your life. But I'm giving you the information to save you time and heartache when you spend 15, 20 years spinning your damn wheels and you haven't seen an ounce of muscle growth. Do you think... these are good questions. Good on you, Josh. Do you think exercising or use of creatine helps one's immune system against major symptoms of illness? Exercise certainly does if you're not doing too much. If you do too much exercise, you're actually going to experience flu-like symptoms. It's going to be overtraining. Definitely improves your immune system. I think there was there's pretty clear evidence when it comes to COVID-19 that fit younger people didn't get it as much. And if they got it, they didn't get it bad. Listen, I didn't really take any precautions. I barely, I just did everything I normally do. Didn't really wear a mask, just didn't care. I didn't get it. And all the other relatively fit people I know didn't get it. Of course, you can hear someone say, oh, this 32-year-old blah, 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 blah personal trainer died, yada, 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 yada. Okay, well, yeah, there's going to be edge cases. But in general, if you are fit and you eat relatively healthy and you sleep well and you try to maintain a relatively low stress life, you're going to be pretty damn resistant to any kind of illness. It's actually pretty hard for the human body to get sick. The only reason it's common is because of a lot of fat, lazy slobs, especially over in the United States here. And, just because something is common does not mean it's normal. Just because there are fat, lazy slobs everywhere getting sick doesn't mean that's normal. Mm-hmm. All right, let's see. No, I don't have that many. Well, yeah, I do have a lot of veins, but this is only a 1080p camera. All right, let's see. Is it beneficial to fall in between rep ranges, aka strength phases? Ooh, I don't like that word. Don't say the word strength phases. That is some bullshit NASM fucking horrible shit. Higher rep phase, all skin hit work. Okay. There's no such thing as a strength phase. There's no such thing as a hypertrophy phase. There's no such thing as all the bullshit phases. NASM and NSCA, which is basically a circle jerk of researchers just coming up with bullshit and peer reviewing each other's shit. They just come up with this. It's wrong. There's no strength phase. There's no hypertrophy phase. It doesn't matter what rep range you use. James Steele, James Fisher out in the UK did research on this. Ralph Carpinelli did research on this. Look up their work, read their research. Ralph Carpinelli, James Steele, PhD, James Fisher, PhD. Look up their work. Very good exercise researchers. They found that a huge range of rep ranges results in the same adaptation. So whether you're failing at 8 reps, whether you're failing at 15 reps, or whether you're using a set to failure 25 reps, as long as you reach muscle failure, the outcome is exactly the same. Doesn't matter. It all comes down to preference and time efficiency. I recommend staying between 8 and 12 because if you kick everything up to 30 reps, you're just going to be in the gym longer for the exact same adaptation. Plus, that's going to be more wear and tear on the joints. So you got to put all these things together. But there's no magic rep range when it comes to muscle hypertrophy or strength. It's bullshit. Oh, man, this is a good question. There's no such thing as a stabilizer muscle. If any trainer says that, they are a effing idiot. A muscle can act as a stabilizer, but there are no muscles in the body which only stabilize. Okay, so think about think about it this way. This is the best example. So I'm doing a biceps curl. My glutes are acting as stabilizers to keep me upright. But we don't do a biceps curl for the sake of working our glutes, do we? No. The whole stabilizer muscle thing is stupid. Just because you put a muscle in a position to stabilize doesn't mean it trains it any differently than if you literally address the function of that muscle. So I think a lot of retard trainers, basically what they do is they have you do some balancing act. And when you do the balancing act long enough, say, what do they do? Like a Bosu ball thing, you're going to develop skill at it. You're going to become better at it and be able to do it more effectively. Not because your stabilizer muscles improved, but because the skill component of performing that stupid movement improved. There's no such thing as a stabilizer muscle. There's no reason to pay any additional attention to putting muscles in a stabilization position. Simply address all the major muscle groups in the body based on their function, their joint function, and train them hard. Stabilizer muscles are the biggest, dumbest myth, one of the biggest, dumbest myths in the fitness industry. And I was going to do a video on it. I did do a video on this, and the audio was terrible, so I got to redo it. But forget stabilizer muscles. So dumb. Free weights and machines, the outcome's going to be exactly the same in the long run. The only difference is the machine's going to be safer and more efficient. Just like, say I wanted to go to the mall right now. I could walk or I could drive. Either way, I'm getting to the mall. The car is a machine which is going to get me there more effectively, more safely, and more efficiently. That's what a machine does. A machine just is an improvement on the original process. Okay. Don Julio. Been training for about 2 years. 6'1", 187, 12% body fat, slim physique, age 26, and it's quite difficult to pick. No, you got a decent physique there. 6'1", 187. One of my good friends is about 6'2", 190, and he looks pretty good. 12% body fat, slim. Yeah, 26, difficult. Well, all right. Well, if you're training 4 to 5 times a week, there's a problem. 2 problems. One, the reason you're able to tolerate that is because you're not training very hard. You may think you're training very hard, but you're not. If you were training hard enough to stimulate an adaptive response, you would not be able to tolerate 4 to 5 real workouts a week. Or if you are training hard enough, you're doing way too much and not allowing your body to recover. I recommend cutting it back. Cut it back to maybe 3 workouts a week, full body training, train to failure. 1 or 2 sets, you'll know. 1 or 2 sets to failure, handful of exercises, 3 times a week at most. There's something wrong with your volume and intensity in order to be able to train that much. But at 6'1", 187, 12% body fat, you got a fair amount of muscle on you. It will be hard to pack on size because you've got some decent size. I mean, what do you expect to be? 6'1", 220 at 12%? Doubtful. I mean, maybe if you're an NFL linebacker freak. Again, we gotta have realistic expectations here. Are you a professional athlete? No, so don't expect to have like a professional athlete results. Let's see. Just a reminder again, guys, I'm starting my Patreon private membership group next week or the week after. These live streams are going to only be available for Patreons. I'm going to do 3 of these a week. I'm literally going to sit here for an hour and a half and answer all your questions 3 days a week. It's going to be $20 a month. On top of that, I'm going to upload all kinds of videos on various topics. YouTube is only going to get snippets of these videos. I'm not giving all this information out anymore. This is going to be special information for special people. There's also going to be workouts, start to finish, demonstration, and access to me with any of your questions. So that's going to be available on Patreon, my private membership group, and that's going to be happening in a week or two, probably 2 weeks. Just recently started HIIT. My nerves always tend to be firing off like crazy for a while after a workout. Does this go away as I get more used to training to failure? No, that just means you really effectively stimulated your body. And again, like, what do you mean by nerves firing off like crazy? Do you mean you're twitching? That's definitely normal. I twitch like crazy, shake a little bit, all normal stuff. It's probably not going to go away. That's a good indication you had a damn good workout. So I'd be happy about that, honestly. It may not go, it probably won't go away, but just relax after. Take a second. Drink some water, calm down. Does sauna after workout help muscle recovery, fat loss? Absolutely frigging not. It's so stupid. That has been, oh man. So here's the thing. We hold a lot of water in our body, a lot. So when you go in the sauna, it dehydrates you because you're so hot, your sweat mechanism kicks in and it uses water to cool your body down, keep your core temperature down. So you lose a lot of water. So you come out of the sauna, yeah, you're lighter from water. But then you have to put the water back in so you don't die. So you put the weight right back on. There's nothing about heating your body up that helps muscle recovery. In fact, the sauna would hinder muscle recovery because you're dehydrating your muscle. Your muscle is 76% water. Training it really hard and then going into a sauna and depleting all the water out of your muscle is going to hinder its ability to recover because the cell membrane of the muscle cell is going to shrink and it's going to, so there's, your cell membrane is mostly, your cells are mostly water, and the cell membrane, if it shrinks from dehydration, the interaction of the receptors on the outside of the cell with whichever hormones like IGF-1, all these other hormones circulating your body, it's not going to be able to, the receptors are not going to be able to interact with those hormones very well, and it's going to hinder your response to training. Do not go in the sauna after an intense workout. It's terrible. Thoughts of intermittent fasting? It's okay. Research has shown that there's no benefit to intermittent fasting in terms of weight loss, body composition improvements compared to just a calorie-restricted diet. But throwing a fast in now and then, personally, I don't like to eat until like 1 in the afternoon. That's just personally what I do. So I intermittent fast every day. But there's not going to be like a huge noticeable difference. If you're training and eating properly, throwing intermittent fasting into there isn't going to make a noticeable difference on anything. All right, Brian is back. 5'11", 205, body fat 20%. Last time I checked a few months ago. Been dieting and working out a lot. Okay. All right. So at 5'11", a good lean physique for you would be probably about 170, 175. That'd be like a decent amount of muscle. More realistically, maybe like 165, 170. Lean, 9-10% body fat. So 28% body fat, you got to figure it's about 2 pounds per percent body fat. So if we're taking off, 18% times 2, about 36 pounds would leave you at 170. See, I know my shit. So yeah, you want to be at about 170 pounds. You've been dieting and working out a lot. Keep in mind, a lot when it comes to training doesn't speed up the process. The exercise is a stimulus that tells your body to do something. If you introduce the stimulus before your body has made the adaptation, you're spinning your wheels. It's not about a lot. It's about consistency and patience. You need to take your time. Your body is not going to respond as quickly as you expect it to or want it to. Keep that in mind. That's why a lot of people give up. It's slow. It's a slow process, especially fat loss. If you are losing weight quickly, you're doing something wrong. If you're losing weight quickly, you're either losing water or muscle glycogen or likely a combination of both. You're not losing fat. You can lose muscle glycogen and water extremely quickly. You can take 4, 5, 6 pounds off in a day, not fat. It needs to be slow. Okay. Do you think the adaptations of the nervous system with high loads and accelerations could have some benefit in terms of hypertrophy and strength long term? No. Ace, come here. No. There's no good reason at all, ever, and there never will be, to try to accelerate a weight for the sake of stimulating the general trainable factors of functional ability: muscular strength, size, bone and connective tissue strength, cardiovascular efficiency, metabolic efficiency. Moving quickly does not improve any of those 5 trainable general factors of functional ability any better than moving slowly does. High load is relative. Resistance is a combination of velocity, leverage, and load. So you can add a high load and still have not that much resistance if you have a high velocity and a good leverage or mechanical advantage. So load's got nothing to do with it. Load is just a component of creating resistance. So load has nothing to do with how your body responds to exercise. Can couples do HIIT together? Yeah, I mean, probably a good idea to train together. Once you get used to it, helping each other maintain form and assisting each other through the exercise, definitely a good idea. Obviously, what I would do is, have your significant other do a set, and then you do a set, and then you go to the next exercise. Just kind of switch. I'm going to put a link to my course on here, because if you guys are if you're a couple and you want to learn how to train and train each other, you should probably take my course so you can learn how to instruct each other and what to look for. Training together is actually a really good idea. Let me see. Okay, so I'm going to put a link to my high-intensity training course, teach you the ins and outs of high-intensity training, how to train, how to instruct the training, all the physiology behind it, the science behind the nutrition, kind of covers everything. All right, let's see. What's this? Opinion on going for runs as an exercise to do in between. Okay, well, running is not really exercise to a certain point. In the beginning, when your body is not used to running it, it's exercise. But a steady state locomotive activity doesn't really do anything. And for most people, it won't get in the way of your training, but for some people, it will. So you're going to have to trial and error that. If you like running as a means of recreation, fine. but running in addition to a well-performed, properly performed resistance training protocol is going to have no additional benefit and almost certainly adverse effects. Wear and tear on the joints. You got to remember, wear and tear on the joints. Your joints have a lifespan to them. You want to choose exercises which provide the most stimulation of the 5 general trainable factors of functional ability with the least amount of wear and tear on the joints. Running, tiny amount of stimulation, tons of wear and tear on the joints. Properly performed resistance training on a well-designed machine, huge amounts of muscle stimulation, almost no wear and tear on the joints. See the difference? Hold on one second. Get some more water. All right. Would I recommend doing P90X? No. So stupid. Everybody who bought P90X, you were robbed and scammed. Sorry. I don't think Josh is a troll. That wasn't a very good question. Let's see. Know you favor a full body routine twice a week or an upper lower split as a 3-way split feasible? Yeah, I mean all splits are feasible if you have the time. Just a lot of people don't want to put that much time in. I flip-flop between full body and split. I just find it lately, maybe because it's summer in Florida and it's a million degrees every day, but lately I found that if I do a full body routine, I just feel like crap for not even the rest of the day, but the next day. So the reason I've been splitting my workouts up is because, with the level of intensity I train, the full body workout just ruins me and it's just not worth it. I'd rather split it up and feel a little better and be more productive. Zippy doo. No, I've been COVID tested numerous times and haven't had it. All right, let's see. How much water is most suitable amount daily to support muscle gain? 2 to 3 liters a day. What is this? I think this is 32 ounce. Yeah, I mean, I probably, again, here in Florida, it's so humid that you just lose so much water. So I probably drink 6, 7 of these a day, but 2 to 3 liters a day is adequate for most people, or like a half a gallon. If you're trying to elevate, yeah, absolutely. Because here's the thing: if you implement, so high intensity training, it's not even really a program. It's just the proper way to stimulate your muscle. So by implementing high intensity training principles, you're going to get the same, if not at least the same, most likely better results for your clients in less time, with less chance of injury and less wear and tear on the joints. So think about it this way. My studios, 30-minute appointments, I would do 10 to 15 a day. I made $250,000 training people by shortening the workout and making it more effective and safer. So if you're doing hour sessions, how many can you do a day? 5, 6, maybe 7, kill yourself. I was doing 15, 5 or 6 days a week. Economically, it's going to be way better for you, and you're not going to hurt anybody, and you're going to give them great results. So guess what happens when you don't hurt your clients? They keep coming forever and ever and ever. Some of my clients have been training for 7 years every week. If you don't hurt them, they have no reason to quit. A lot of the times, clients will start to get banged up and worn out, and then they'll stop. So high-intensity training for your clients is economically better, and just for maintaining or retaining clients better. And plus, you can sell something a little different. I mean, you can reword it and make it sound interesting and fascinating. Like lately, I've just been calling it single set failure training. Because high intensity training, I'm just so sick of the term. So to make it seem a little different, I just call it single set failure training. Just call it something like that. But yeah, if you switch to that, you could do like 10 sessions a day, 5-6 days a week, 50, 60 sessions a week. I'm not sure how much you get paid per session, but you're making way better money. Other than muscle soreness, what do you think is the first sign of overtraining? Muscle soreness is not a sign of overtraining. Muscle soreness is just a sign of training. Don't use muscle soreness as a sign of overtraining, because you may suffer from delayed onset muscle soreness. Doesn't mean you're overtrained, just means you just got unlucky with that. The first sign of overtraining is lethargy and just feeling weak. So you go into the gym and you just feel like you don't have it that day. You're just like, ugh. Go home, rest. Also, lethargy. Yesterday I woke up, I slept good. I always sleep at least, 8 hours a night, and I was just tired. And I had been training a little more frequently than I normally do, about three workouts a week. I normally only do 2. I got a migraine later that day, and even today felt horrible. I took a 3-hour nap. I was overtrained. That's why I'm feeling this way. So feeling unusually tired, generally a good indication you're overtraining. Been out of the workout scene for several years. For someone who wants to start training again, is HIIT and training to muscle failure a good choice? Well, yeah. All other training is inferior. Muscle failure, the purpose of muscle failure is to make sure that you have recruited every available muscle fiber. If you don't go to failure, then you have not recruited every available muscle fiber. And by recruiting and fatiguing every available muscle fiber, you can be sure that you have stimulated or provided the necessary stimulus to produce an adaptation. Training short of muscle failure is a less effective stimulus. There's nothing bad about training to muscle failure. It's the actual stimulus that tells your body to change. Some people will experience improvements without training to muscle failure, but they will receive better improvements by training to muscle failure. What do you think? So a lot of people ask me about Mike Mentzer. I had a question today about Mike Mentzer's nutrition breakdown. He said like 60% carbs, 25 protein, 15 fat, something like that. All right. Just because Mike Mentzer was a professional bodybuilder does not make him the authority on exercise and nutrition. He was on the right track, but he got so many things wrong. Mike Mentzer's original heavy-duty routine is better than probably what most people do out there. But in terms of a high-intensity training routine, it's shit. Not good. Of course, he saw good results. I mean, if you saw Mike Mentzer at 17 without steroids, he looked like a brick shithouse. He had great genetics. He was on the right track, but not a good routine. Wouldn't do it. Oh, this is an important question. What do you recommend for cardiovascular endurance for sports like coming? Okay, so cardiovascular endurance can be improved with exercise. The general adaptation is improved through exercise, but there is also a specific component to that. So the more you practice a particular skill or a particular activity, the more efficient your body will become at performing that activity, and the less energy your body will use performing that activity, and the less hard your cardiovascular system will have to work to do that particular activity. So if you want to improve the cardiovascular endurance for a combat sport or someone doing the military tests or police tests, you need to practice the tests. You need to practice the combat sport. Your cardiovascular, if you want to improve cardiovascular endurance for jiu-jitsu, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, you need to practice jiu-jitsu. Military and police is kind of tough. 2 of my best friends, several of my extremely close friends, are cops for Tampa Police Department. You can't practice chasing down a drug addict through an alleyway after sitting in your car for 2 hours. 2 of my best friends growing up, they're brothers, and they're both Tampa police cops. And I hear their stories. Every time they come back from their 4-day shift, they have their stories. They'll be sitting in their car just like hanging out for 2 hours. And then all of a sudden they'll have to jump out of the car and run as fast as they can and chase someone down. You can't train for that. Sorry. You just need to train to improve the 5 general trainable factors of functional ability through resistance training. But the specific scenario training, you can't really do for a cop. But for the tests, for the police tests, the physical tests, the PT exams, practice the exact test. And for combat sports, practice the combat sports. Really, really all you can do. Let's see. Oh, boy. Skipped a few. Okay. Do you think older adults should train the heavyweights? Heavy is relative. You should train with a resistance that allows you to reach muscle failure within 8 to 12 repetitions using a slow cadence. Some people might interpret that as heavy, but you don't need to use a heavy weight. You can use a weight that allows you to reach failure in 30 reps if you want. As long as you reach failure, the outcome is exactly the same. So heavy is a bad term. You want to use adequate resistance that allows you to reach failure, preferably within 8 to 12 reps, using like a 5-5 cadence. 5 seconds raising the weight, 5 seconds lowering the weight. Whatever weight that might be, who knows? If you consider that heavy, then use less weight. Doesn't really matter. I'm 190, 6'2", can see my abs eating 24 calories roughly. What would you do from here? How long have you been eating 2,400 calories? I would probably say just continue that. I mean, what are your goals? That's the question. Are your goals add more muscle tissue? Are your goals be as lean as you can? It's going to depend. If your goal is to continue to become lean, and you are continuing to become lean with that many calories, stick with that and just let it enough time. You don't want to do too drastic of a calorie deficit. That's going to mess you up. You'll lose muscle. What do you think of nucleus overload training as suggested by me on YouTube channel Alpha 3D? I don't know what nucleus overload training is, but it sounds like absolute bullshit. People come up with the dumbest things. Oh my God. Nucleus overload training. Guys, get out of here. That's so stupid. Come on. If you hear some crazy shit like that, like nucleus overload training, then it's probably bullshit, man. I mean, Jesus Christ. There's really nothing. There's no like magic thing that someone's going to discover and then it's going to transform everybody into Hercules. Like nucleus overload training. There's never going to be a discovery in terms of training. Maybe in terms of drugs, probably like myostatin inhibitors or something. There's never going to be some training protocol that some genius comes up with that turns everybody into Hercules. Come on. And nucleus overload training is not one of them. Whatever the fuck that is. That's so funny. That's so stupid. Why do you think men over 6 years still able to gain impressive muscle mass or still have the drive to do hard exercise? Because their genetics are insane. People over 60 who still gain impressive muscle mass, they have crazy genetics. Do I know anybody? Yeah, like Lou Ferrigno. Yeah, I mean, when Lou Ferrigno was in his 40s, when he did that like Masters bodybuilding competition, he looked insane. Oh man, when was that? Lou Ferrigno, I think it was like 40 something years old. That was like one of the best physiques I've ever seen. He was like old for a bodybuilder. Lou Ferrigno Masters. I think that was it. 1994 Masters. How old was he? God, he looked. Is that him? I'll find a good picture of when he was in the Masters. He looked like probably better than he ever had. Yeah, I think that was it. No. Oh my God, Dorian Yates was in there. So Dorian Yates competed at like 290. I'm going to share my screen here and show you. Yeah, share, whatever. So this was Lou Ferrigno when he was in his 40s. That's Dorian Yates in his 30s. And Dorian Yates competed at like, jeez, it was 5'10", 280 maybe? Ripped. And look how much bigger Lou Ferrigno is. That's freakish genetics. So that's why. Thank you, Daniel, for the compliment. Appreciate it. If you're a boxer and suffer from slight or major muscle damage, what soft exercise would you recommend doing to help muscle? Exercises aren't going to help your muscles recover. I mean, maybe putting them through a relatively moderate range of motion just so they're able to maintain just your nervous system permits that range of motion as they heal. No exercises are going to help recovery. Just like, think about it. Like when you break a bone, is standing on it even a little bit going to help it recover? No, you have to completely let it rest. You need to allow it to repair at the molecular level. Exercises don't help muscles recover. People started to believe this because of the scam, which is physical therapy. Most physical therapy is an absolute fucking scam. They'll have an injured person go through, do a bunch of pointless bullshit, like hold a towel over their head. And when the person inevitably recovers from their injury, given enough time. So think about it. If you did physical therapy for 6 weeks, your body's going to recover in 6 weeks anyway. But people attribute the recovery to the physical therapy when it was really just the amount of time that passed that allowed it to recover. The physical therapy had nothing to do with it. It was a waste of fucking time. So don't do any exercises to help recover. An injury recover. It's not gonna help. Explain the consequences of taking Valium. I'm not a pharmacist. I can't help you with that. I don't know anything about. I don't even think I know what Valium is. Is that like a sleeping aid? Hack squat versus barbell squat, which is more effective solution? Again, any squat's going to be pretty much equally effective. Which one is safest? If it's a hack squat machine, some of those are pretty rough on the knees. I would chalk that up to preference, honestly. Barbell squat, if you really know how to do a barbell squat and you could do it safely, it'll probably be better. But if it's a hack squat machine and you're a beginner, probably do that. Oliver, 5'6", 140 pounds, 27 years old, want to build muscle and gain weight with my height. What would be the ideal weight to target for? 5'6", you could probably be 150, in between 150 and 160 lean would probably be realistic for you. If you want to be lean, if you want to have definition. Yeah, I guess. Sorry about that. All right, let's see. It's this one. So sounds like you do some kind of martial art twice a week and hit twice a week. How much time or intervals would you suggest to improve punching kick speed effectively without affecting recovery? Well, I wouldn't do them on the same day. That's for sure. Say if you work out resistance training on a Monday and you do martial arts on a Tuesday, that would be fine. I would not do them on the same day. Or maybe do your training your exercise on a Monday, martial arts on a Wednesday, and then your exercise again on a Thursday and the martial arts on a Saturday, that would be the split I would prefer. Always err towards more recovery time. Never try to cram things in. I sweat and work a physical job. Can this hinder recovery? And sweating won't really. Depends on how physical. I mean, if you're like, I don't know, your job, you're going to become so energy efficient at your physical job that if you've been doing it long enough, your body's really not using that much energy doing it. So it's probably not going to interfere with your recovery ability. All right. All right, let's see. Damn. All right. Sorry, I scroll down, I lose my place here. Thoughts on Planet Fitness rules and regulations, guys. If you can avoid training at Planet Fitness, don't train there. So stupid, that place. Okay, this is a good question. How do you recommend training for prepare for physical test? Resistance train the same way you always would. Rest, and then try to practice the exam as close to the actual fitness exam as you can. If the fitness exam is a 1.5 mile run, sit-ups and push-ups all at once, then practice that exact exam. Once a week is fine. So say, for instance, you do your resistance training, let's say Monday, Thursday, Saturday, or Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Then on a Sunday, try to practice the exact exam if you can on the exact surface. So if you're practicing your 1.5 mile run on a track, practice your 1.5 mile run on a track. If you're practicing doing your sit-ups and whatever on a gym floor, like a hardwood floor, practice on a hardwood floor. It may seem not much, but replicating the exact environment is very important, especially with running. Practice in the same running shoes that you're going to use on the test. All that stuff, make as identical as you can. Another good question. Let's see. I actually have research up right now by Ralph Carpinelli on drop sets. Is this it? Drop sets provide no additional benefit in terms of stimulating hypertrophy. Let's see, where is this? I'm just going to bring this up real quick and show you. I was just reading this morning. Again, James Steele, PhD, James Fisher, PhD, Ralph Carpinelli, Ralph Otto, OTTO. Look these guys up and read the research. They have some really good stuff. Okay, drop set training. Here we go. I'm going to share my screen again. We'll go over this really quickly. Is that it? Yep. Drop set training. All right, guys, can you see this? Throw a comment in there if you can see me sharing the screen. Just want to make sure I'm doing it right. Okay. Drop set training, Ralph Carpinelli, exercise researcher and scientist. Drop set training, aka descending sets, is a training protocol where the trainer performs a set of repetitions with a given amount of resistance to a concentric muscular failure. Immediately reduces the resistance 10 to 25% and performs as many repetitions as possible with a lighter load. Sometimes 2 or more drop sets are performed. There are no specific guidelines to how much to reduce resistance or how many drop sets should be used. Schoenfeld and Gurgic 7 noted recently that muscles are not completely fatigued at concentric muscular failure, and the muscles are still capable of producing additional repetitions if the resistance is reduced. They cited and discussed the methods and results of 5 training studies, 8 to 12, and compared the efficacy of drop set training protocol with traditional resistance training protocols. None of those studies reported a significant difference in training-induced muscle hypertrophy between drop set training and traditional training. Goto and colleagues, 2004, Schoenfeld and Gurgic 7 specifically described the study by Goto and colleagues in an attempt to show some advantage to drop set training. The statement by Schoenfeld and Gurgic, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but that's what he gets, that the subjects were recreationally trained was misleading. Goto and colleagues specifically noted that in their methods sections that their subjects had some resistance training in the last 4 years, but had not participated in any regular resistance training for at least 6 months prior to the study. Therefore, Goto and colleagues considered all the subjects previously untrained. Let's see. Basically, without going through all this, Ralph Carpinelli dissected Schoenfeld and others' research when it came to drop set training and found a ton of flaws, showing that there was actually no additional benefit to doing breakdown such drop set training. So, pointless. Okay, this is something that is really misunderstood. If strength is your goal, do you train different? No. The purpose of exercise is to improve muscular strength. That is pretty much the only purpose of exercise. So still good. With strength comes muscle growth. How much it grows depends on mostly your genetics and then your diet. Cardiovascular efficiency comes with strength as well. Metabolic efficiency comes with improvements in strength as well. Bone and connective tissue strength comes with improvements in muscular strength as well. The one goal is make your muscle stronger, and then everything else that can be generally improved with training your muscles comes along with it. People get confused when it comes to testing your strength. So when people say training for strength, they refer to training for the ability to perform a bench press or the ability to perform a squat. Again, these are technical lifts. So your ability to perform a bench press or a squat is going to depend on how much you practice those particular lifts. They are also a poor measure of muscular strength. If you took 2 individuals who are identically strong, but one individual was better or had more skill at performing a bench press, he would be able to bench press more weight. The bench press and a squat and these lifts that are commonly referred to as lifts that display strength or as a measure of strength involve muscular strength and skill. You need to improve both. You need to make your muscles strong and you need to practice the lift in order to develop skill with it. So, and to answer your question, no, you don't train differently. You just make your muscles really, really strong by training them to failure. But if you want to be able to bench press a lot or squat a lot or deadlift a lot, you need to practice those lifts. Yes. I wouldn't doubt if someone came up with something that ridiculous. Okay, I'm missing a lightning game, guys. I'm going to do one more. I'm going to do one. I'm going to try to find a good one. Oh, okay, let's see. First name, last name, volume or frequency depends on the individual. That's all I can say about that. Zippy-Doo, I'm not sure what you mean by this question. Overcoming isometrics, I'm not sure what you mean. Where my fitness program is almost polar opposite. Yes, and that's because school fitness program, they go by American College of Sports Medicine, and these are like a handful of researchers that they've come up with their initial guidelines for exercise. And think about it. If you've come up with an initial guideline for anything and stuck by for 20, 30 years and then found out you're actually wrong, you're going to fight tooth and nail to show ways that you weren't wrong. People don't like being wrong, especially when they've stuck with an idea for decades. So if the ACSM has stuck with a particular set of exercise guidelines for decades, even if they knew they were wrong, which they do, they're not going to admit it because they're going to look stupid. And that's pretty much the exercise industry in a nutshell. People don't like to be wrong, and people don't like change. So not funny. All right. Let's see. I'll do one more. Okay, one more. My chest is less built and defined compared to the rest of my upper body, even though I've trained it with similar. Well, yeah, it's your genetics. I mean, I have really impressive shoulders and chest, but my triceps aren't that impressive. And there's really nothing you could do about it. I've tried training them a little bit harder or whatever, but they're not as impressive as other muscle groups. How well muscle groups develop is going to vary throughout your body. It's just how it is. The ones who have pretty even and proportionate development, they become bodybuilders or fitness models. Most people are going to have a lot of difference in how muscle groups develop. I mean, if you're so for a lagging muscle group, the best approach would be to reduce the training of all the other muscle groups. So rather than train that muscle group harder or doing anything additional or different, reduce the amount of training the other muscle groups get because they're responding very quickly. They're probably not going to atrophy, and focus most of your energy and most of your recovery ability on the lagging muscle group and cut back from the other ones. That's the best way to bring up a lagging muscle group. Actually, so when it comes to genetics, my father's side, there's a lot of variability on my father's side. My father, let's see, in his height, in his peak appearance, he was probably about 6 foot 175. My father was a football player, quarterback, lean, but not particularly muscular, but he's pretty ripped. My mother's side, my uncle Jeff my father used to say he was built like a middle linebacker, and he never lifted a weight a day in his life. He did not even work out. He had a neck out to here. Also, my other uncle, man, do I have a picture of him? I did have a picture saved, but I remember, people always say, they'll always look at me and be like, oh, when I was your age, I used to look like you. And I'm like, doubt it. But my other uncle on my mother's side said he used to look like me. And I was just like, you're full of shit. And then I found a picture of him. And he was like, I don't know if you could see it. Oh, come on. He was pretty ripped. And he didn't work out a day in his life. If you can see that. Come on, focus. So, and he wasn't even the jacked one, but he had a ripped six-pack, well-defined pecs, well-defined everything. Never worked out a day in his life. My other uncle, his brother, built like a middle linebacker, never worked out a day in his life. His workouts used to be, so they used to have a summer camp on a lake. he used to swim the entire 1 mile lake. It was either a mile or, it was about a mile long. And then run back on the railroad tracks barefoot. That's what his workout was. He did like Navy SEAL workouts for fun. The genetics in my family are just crazy. That uncle, he was more of a nerd. He was like a guitarist, an engineer. They're both engineers. They're both geniuses, which is why I'm a genius. But they're both extremely good shape. They didn't do anything for it. They just did whatever they want, and then they drink a ton of alcohol. Genetics are huge, guys. If I could find a picture of my other uncle, he looks just like me. It's creepy. He's got kind of the same jaw structure, big thick neck like I do. Just a big dude. Genetics. All right, everybody. Thanks for coming in again. This is going to be available in my private Patreon group in the future, but I'll do a couple more of these until I get that thing going. And if you guys want to come in and ask me questions 2 or 3 times a week, we're going to be here on the private Patreon group. It's going to be $20 a month. Access, pretty much full access to me, and a bunch of other videos, workouts, and debunking a lot of the fitness frauds, which is going to be more for entertainment. So, I'll be on here. What is today? Friday. I'll be on here maybe Monday again. So subscribe, recommend my YouTube channel to anybody you know who would like to learn more about exercise. Also, follow my Instagram, J__Vincent. And let's see. Oh, Rich Piana. Yeah. These people, I don't even get mad at them anymore. They're so dumb. It's like it's almost like flat earthers. I watched a documentary on flat earthers the other day, and it was hilarious. These people literally believed that the earth was flat. And then no matter the outrageous amount of evidence put right in their face to show them that the earth is round, they wouldn't believe it. They wouldn't let go of their belief. And that is why, again, a lot of this fitness industry is so messed up, is because people have these old beliefs and they won't let go of them despite the amount of evidence shoved down their throats. Just like the flat earthers. You can literally show them a round earth and they won't believe it's flat. They'll tell you it's Photoshop, or it's a conspiracy, or it's a lie. That's the fitness industry today. So, Rich Piana, people like this, that's why I'm going to debunk all these frauds. These are just people who, they just lack critical thinking ability, and they're just idiots. Rich Piana died because he did like coke and all kinds of crazy. He was not a healthy dude. The dude had synthol coming out of his eyeballs. He was not a healthy guy. Don Julio Swa, Coach EO, awesome dating coach. Subscribe to his page. Man, you want to understand women? Go to Coach EO's page. That dude, he's got a gift. He's got a gift for understanding relationships with women. Us guys, many of us have dating problems. It's just the way it is. Women are crazy. So go to Coach EO's page, hit a like and a subscribe. Awesome content. He's like me, but with the dating world. Just think of it that way. You'll learn some shit. All right, guys. I'll see you in a couple days. Thanks for tuning in. Follow my Instagram. Keep a lookout for the notice for the live stream, and come ready with questions. I'll take them down. See you soon. Have a good weekend. Go Lightning.